Hey y'all, this is Brian, and you're watching I'm doing something a little bit different today on this video. I've seen a lot of towing videos on YouTube, testing different trucks and things like that. I've never done anything like that with Gertrude. So I figured I would do one just to let y'all know, if you see a truck like this and it's kind of set up like old Gertrude here, you know what you're getting. So I'm gonna take you on a quick tour and let you see how Gertrude's built and give you some information on her. And then we're gonna do a towing test down the road. But before we get into it though, please, if you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, please. Trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by Christmas, and you can help me with that. I'm not begging, I'm just asking you to consider the content on this channel, and if you like it, please subscribe. Also, click the like button, click that thumbs up button, please. And when you do all that, hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I post new content. So we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna roll that beautiful bean footage. Now I'm gonna start off with the tires. These are Falcon Wild Peak, and I think they're ATW 3s or AT3W, that's what they are. And these are size 32 by 1150. And of course you've heard Gertrude's got dual exhaust. Basically what she's got is a catback exhaust. I've got a video on that if you'd like to check it out. I'll put a link in the description below for that video. But anyway, yeah, I love my Boxer. If you haven't checked out my dog's channel, it's Baron the Boxer dog. But anyway, I'm gonna get up underneath her here and let you see. This is a F-150. It's a 96 model, and it's considered a half ton. Now the rear end is an 8.8 millimeter with a 308 gear in it. Now, I had a tire specialist tell me that with these size tires, it reduces the gear ratio down to about 273. So that gives you an idea of what we're working with. But as I said, this is a half ton. Let me get on the other side because I want to show you something that not many people have thought about or that I have seen on YouTube. And yes, I'm beside a busy highway. You see those right there? And I mean these things right here. This is a half-ton pickup, and I don't know if you can see that spring, but that spring is almost flat. This is an Eddie Bauer edition truck, and the suspension is not made for towing. Although it has a 10,000 pound towing package, the suspension on this truck is made for comfort. But I put those coilover shocks on there to beef up the suspension and make it more stable in the highway, pulling Leonard there. But anyway, I'm gonna pop the hood and I'm gonna let you see it. Like I said, Gertrude is a work truck, so she's kind of dirty inside. And yeah, she's dirty on top too. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but I'm gonna try to. There we go. Now, this is what's under Gertrude's hood. It is the 5.8 liter. And this engine was specially ordered. I don't know if any of you have heard of Cumulus Broadcasting Company, but the man that owns Cumulus, he ordered this truck special. And the motor in this truck has been stroked. It's 357 cubic inches. And although it's rated at 5.8, it's 357 cubic inches. So it has a little bit more torque than your standard Windsor engine. It's been a good truck. I've changed the spark plugs in it twice. So I've had it for 14 years. And I've changed the spark plugs twice. I've changed the radiator, and I've had to put a torque converter in her, but that's all I've ever had to do to this truck. Other than your regular maintenance, like, you know, changing the oil, stuff like that, I mean, that's all I've ever had to do to it. But yeah, she's got a little bit of, now that oil you see on the valve cover right there, I hope I'm in the shot. Is the oil spill that you see on that, that's for me pouring oil. It does have an oil leak on the crankcase seal between the motor and the transmission. It leaks probably a quart of oil about every 4,000, 5,000 miles, something like that. So that tells you what we're dealing with here. But it's got the factory rims. She is 4-wheel drive. And when I bought this truck, it had manual locking hubs. I don't like manual. I mean, it had automatic hubs. I don't like automatic hubs because they're very unreliable. But I paid the money and I got manual locking hubs. Now, the transmission, it has an E40D transmission in it, and this truck, for what it is to be a half-ton, this truck is an absolute beast. That trailer with the equipment and everything on it, it weighs just shy of 5,000 pounds. The trailer itself weighs 2,280 pounds. And with the racks and both mowers on it, and the toolbox with all my tools in it, it weighs just like I said, just under 5,000 pounds. So I'm gonna get out on the road and let you see how she pulls. Okay, I'm back in Gertrude now. I gotta get my seatbelt put back on. And I just finished this job here. This is close to the end of October, and work is slowing down a little bit. The leaves have started falling some, but not much. There's still a lot of leaves left on the trees. They're just now, in all honesty, starting to change, and I'll show you what I mean. As you can see, there's still plenty of leaves on the trees. Some of them have started changing, some of them haven't. But like that right over there, that's grapevine there. And you see all the grapevine right there? All that has changed, but it hasn't fallen yet. And you can tug on the leaves and they won't go anywhere. They don't fall off. But anyway, I suspect that by the end of November, 1st of December, we will be leaveless, so should I say. But anyway, I did want to show you the Gertrude's odometer here. She's got 237,770 miles. So we're gonna crank her up and we're gonna get going down the road.
Leaf overriding.
I gotta stop waiting on this car to come by. Or should I say these cars. And I'm sitting on a hill here. Got one coming from, two coming from that way too. Oh, she's trying to spin on me. Come on, girl. Yeah, I got a little bit of wind noise over there. That door right there is kind of crunched, and you can see how I'm holding the mirror up. But she's been a good truck. I had to say that. She's been a real good truck. Now, my daddy always told me, if you want a car, get you a General Motors car. If you want a truck, buy a Ford. Now, I don't have anything against Chevys. I don't have anything against Rams. I've just never owned one. I've always had great success or as a lot of people like to call it, luck with a Ford. And that's where I'm probably going to stay. Do they get the best mileage in the world? No. But you're either going to have mileage, fuel economy, or pulling power. You can't have both. But right now I'm doing about 60 miles an hour. Now I do have overdrive turned on, or tow mode is off. So and if you're wondering, when you hear tow haul mode, all that means is the overdrive is turned off. That's all it means. And what that does, it prevents the solenoid from being able to lock up into overdrive, and it keeps the engine in the higher power band. And I run old Gertrude with the overdrive off 99% of the time, because I drive in town a lot. I drive into the suburbs, and it's a lot of start-stop driving, and there's no reason for it to be shifting into overdrive all the time. That'll wear out the overdrive solenoid, and I do not want to do that, because this one, I don't know about other Ford trucks, but this one is inside the transmission, which means the transmission has to come out to change it. I think for a half-ton pickup with a little bit of a beefed-up suspension, I think she pulls pretty good myself. And we're going to jump on the bypass here and get on out of town. This right here be a good test, because we're going uphill with a load. I barely, and I mean literally barely, got my foot on the gas. About 65 miles an hour. $237,000 miles. It does struggle a little bit going up hills, but it's not enough to really make a difference. Chevy, get out the way. I rolled my window up, it was noisy. This truck does not have an RPM gauge, and I honestly don't know how many RPMs it's turning, but I'm doing about 70. Now we're coming up on another hill here. Run her like this all the time. Every now and then I just let her get out here and stretch her legs. my speedometer jumps around like that. But it started doing that. I had to put the speed sensor in the rear end, and ever since I did that, it replaced that sensor, it's been doing that. If you're wondering about, what kind of fuel mileage do you get? I have no idea, because I don't know what that is. This truck averages, even pulling this load up and down hills, start stop, it averages about 9 miles to the gallon. And doing the kind of work I do, that's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. I had a buddy of mine tell me, well, I got a 6.7 liter and I can get 18 miles to the gallon pulling a load. I said, no, you ain't doing that. This one here, I like this old truck, and she's been faithful. She's been a good vehicle, but it wouldn't get 15 miles to the gallon if you push it over a cliff. Back on the country road now. Guys, if the camera's real shaky, I apologize for that. I'm freehanding the camera. I don't have it on a stand. So these engines, the 5.8, they were noted as having 205 horsepower and I believe 326 foot-pounds of torque. I think the torque is is spot on, but I believe that horsepower was a little bit underrated. Because I pulled some pretty heavy loads of this thing. I pulled a load of scrap metal up to the scrap yard, and when I pulled across the scale, I was grossing 27,000 pounds. Now, was I overloaded? Oh yeah. If I had gotten stopped, they would have put me under the jail. But I grossed 27,000 pounds. Pulling it was not a problem. It was pulling the road 65, 70 miles an hour. Now, stopping, on the other hand, that was a different story. You had to think ahead. But anyway, I think those numbers are a little bit underrated. I could be wrong about that, but I believe they are. But anyway, I'm going to get this rig parked and I'll wrap this up. Well, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. Gertrude's an older truck. She's not new by any means. She's got a a little long in the tooth too, with 237,000 miles on it. But there's a couple of videos on YouTube with guys towing with these older style Fords. The 96 was the last year they made this body style and produced the 351 Windsor family engine. That was this is the last year. Then they went from this to the modular engine. I think she does pretty good for what she is. And like I said, I put the coilover shocks on the rear end for stability. There's some guys out there that say the F-150s are not designed very well and they're not really stable in the road. Well, I call brown flag on that. I've been driving this one for 14 years and I've never, ever, ever had a problem. And I started out pulling an 8-foot trailer, then I went to a 14-foot trailer. Now I'm pulling a 22-foot trailer with a 16-foot deck with 2 lawnmowers on it. I've never had an issue. It doesn't sway. It doesn't buck. It squats a little bit, but it doesn't affect the towing ability and the ride of the truck at all. So anyway, you take from that what you will. This is Brian with Big South Outdoors TV saying live big, live southern, and live outdoors. Until the next time, folks.